Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week, and halfway through we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, and Cars, and we've spun it up and we're way up to 91.
I know.
How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning I put a post out. It's only up for a short time, asking for questions. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I have a 2019 Outlander PHEV and I have a question regarding how frequent to replace engine oil, even though the vast majority of my driving is in EV mode. A Mitsubishi dealer suggests every 8,000 kilometers, regardless of which mode I use, as the oil gets cloudy. But my other mechanic says check oil level every once in a while and determine myself when to go. I have another question. Outlander sales team makes a big deal about the AC 110 household outlet, but the dealer says the electricity from 110 volt draws from the small 12 volt battery and not the drive battery. Is that true? I always thought the 110 volt comes directly from the drive battery, but now I'm worried about depleting this small 12 volt battery if I use it, say watch a movie for 2 hours. Yeah.
So you want to go camping and play a video and watch a movie. Yeah, so the household outlet is off the 12 volt regular car battery. Yeah. Okay, so there's other cars that have that, or they're not hybrids or plug-ins.
No.
So we're working backwards. We're starting with the last question.
Yeah, fair.
So yes, that's not uncommon, because what you would need to have for the drive battery is a converter from the DC power to your 12 volt system, which is why they do it that way.
Mm-hmm. As for, well, we get asked this a lot about maintenance of a vehicle. Look, I don't know. The dealership says 8,000 kilometers. What I would say is check the manual book. And also, which nobody ever reads, but check it for Mitsubishi's suggestion. But if you trust your mechanic and he says to be careful, the only issue I have with plug-in hybrids is that they're a complicated system. And if you want it to run properly, I don't know, I think I'd just be more inclined to change the oil more often, especially if I'm keeping the vehicle for a long period of time.
Okay, so here's our situation. We have too many cars, too many, and we have a Cayenne GTS with a manual transmission. I'm the only one that drives it. And I'm going to be upfront here, Andrea. It gets driven maybe 2,000 kilometers a year, which is just over 1,000 miles a year. I know it's a toy. I drive it very infrequently. It just went in for its annual oil change. Now, an oil change in a Cayenne ain't cheap, but it's an annual service. It's only done probably 1,800 kilometers, but it's an annual service. So if you're not doing 8,000 kilometers a year driving your PHEV, still follow the annual service, change the oil. Dealer is right. You don't want old oil sitting in the car. So go by Andrea's recommendation by the manual. Even if you're driving mostly in EV mode, still change the oil, whatever the interval is. Yeah,
it's just the right thing to do if you're keeping it for a longer period of time. And honestly, changing the oil
is cheap insurance.
Is the cheapest insurance. Can we have spaghetti and meatballs for dinner?
Oh, who wrote that?
Who wrote that?
Oh, wait.
Take a look.
Motormouth_auto. That's me.
Comical. That's what I got. That's what I got.
So Andrea put the post out, and I'm not on Instagram a lot. If you follow on Instagram, you know I'm not on there very much.
He's not a huge fan.
Then, so I went on there and I was like, oh, it's question time. So are we?
We are not. Actually, when he put that out, we were having chicken cutlets for dinner.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
With baked potato, which was delicious. Quick story. Zach absolutely loves my pasta and meatballs. Loves
spaghetti meatball.
He loves linguine. That's his favorite with spaghetti and meatballs.
Actually,
but our son...
Yeah, it's actually spaghettini is my favorite.
Oh, no, I know, but I go with long.
Yeah, I like the long pasta.
Something long. Our son, our oldest, does not like linguine. He doesn't like spaghettini. He likes the short pasta. Or fettuccine. He likes the short. So I try to please everybody in the house, and I do rigatoni.
No. So the kids win out, and I don't get my long pasta, except for when it's my birthday.
For your birthday or Father's Day,
that's my celebratory meal, spaghetti meatball.
That's his go-to. Hi, Andrea and Zach. Love your show. Thank you. Kia has revealed the EV3. It seems that this is great value in the subcompact electric SUV. Do you know if Kia will sell the EV3 in Canada? So I looked this up. And,
well, sorry, just to jump in, we went with Kia to the Consumer Electronics Show, and they had them there. And if I was a betting man, I'd say yes.
Yeah,
it was in Vegas, the Consumer Electronics Show.
It was in Vegas.
So I'd bet yeah.
So the president and CEO of Kia says that yes, it's coming to North America, and it will be here mid-2025.
So that's good news. There's going to be a less expensive electric car for those that want one, and that's our biggest beef with these is that they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Mary Barra has come out and said that the next-gen Bolt, which will be coming next year for next year, so 25 model year, whether it's going to be released this fall or not, I'm not sure, is going to be more stylish, more range, and the cheapest EV on the market.
I'd like to see this happen. I really would love to see it. Apparently, the rumor is the EV3 in the U.S. might start at just over $35,000. So these manufacturers are pushing forward, and it would be nice to see less expensive electric vehicles on the market. Love the show, guys. Thank you. Any plans for Mazda to introduce hybrid engines in their smaller models? CX-30, CX-50... Thanks.
Well, it has been announced that the CX-50 is coming, and we spoke with the PR rep, and I think CX-50 is coming late this fall.
That's what they're saying,
yeah,
the end of this year.
It was supposed to be 2 years ago, but it is coming based on the Toyota platform using, obviously, the Mazda engines. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be the 2 or 2.5 liter. But anyway, the good news is once the door opens and they have all of it engineered for that platform is shared with all of the models you mentioned. So you would hope it's plug and play.
And I would think so. I think it's going to come. Mazda is a little bit behind in that area. I mean, we can all agree on that.
They're not a little behind. They're a lot behind.
They're ahead of Subaru.
No.
Yeah, because they have 2 plug-in hybrids.
Well, that is true.
Subaru had that Crosstrek plug-in hybrid that was only available really in the US.
5 minutes.
In Canada, it was available mostly in Quebec. But it is nice to see them moving forward. They have 2 plug-in hybrids out now, but we are really looking forward to the hybrid.
Just a regular hybrid.
Yes.
People like regular hybrids.
Absolutely. Your chemistry is so great. Thank you. Question for each of you. What is your favorite thing about each other?
Who's going first?
Talk about pressure, Ed. I'll go first.
I can go
first. Do you want to go first?
Now, do you want the PG version or the X-rated version?
God. This is a family show, Zach, so I think we should do PG, but I'm slightly alarmed by the X-rated version that you're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you later.
Oh, boy.
Okay, well, go. Not you. You.
Okay, well, you.
I think the number one thing is if you asked me or anybody in our neighborhood with all our friends, Andrea is the kindest person, the nicest person. She's always willing to help. You're helpful. You're very helpful and kind. Yeah. You know, our house is ground zero for every kid in the neighborhood. So I think that would be your number one attribute.
That's nice. Don't I feel like I'm going to cry?
I would say, I could have said organized. And I could have said, you know, you keep a clean house, but that wouldn't be very good, would it, Andrea?
That would be too much.
I would suggest
it wouldn't look good.
I think it's kind. You're kind and sweet, and you know that. You get that from Andrea.
That's so nice.
Because I am not kind and sweet. Because they always go, oh, this is the way our kids imitate me.
Curmudgeon.
They go like this, whoa, blah, 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 blah. And I don't talk like blah, blah, blah. I don't talk like that.
Well, we always have a great time around the dinner table.
There's lots.
At night. 6 o'clock is dinner. You're here with us or you're not. But, you know, being a mom, I always save a dish, right, for later. But we have all these great conversations with the boys.
Well, the great thing about around our dinner table is there's lots of bombs thrown at each other.
Tons of bombs.
Like you cannot hide at our dinner table. If you do something stupid, oh boy, the other 3 will gang up on you. Even Andrea gets it.
Yeah, I get it too. Absolutely. So what I would say about Zach, well, there's so many things, you know, that I would say. But if I had to pick one, I would just say that he's so supportive. He totally has my back all the time. He wants the best for me. If anybody says anything like negative about me, he's in there. And
well, I always say to Andrea, don't listen to the idiots. They're just trolls on the internet. Ignore them.
But it's not just about the internet. I mean, it's just about life in general. He's got my back, and I think having a partner like that is pretty special.
That's it. So Andrea's kind, and I got your back. There you go.
There we go. Love the opportunity to ask
we can play
you guys
Sonny and
questions.
Cher. I got you, babe. I like
Do
the
you
UB40.
really want to hear us sing?
No, I like the
the
UB40 version. Dun, 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 dun.
I got you, babe.
The UB40 version. Remember they did a version
Oh,
of
yeah.
That was really good.
That was so good. The lyrics were great in that.
Do you know, I used to be a weatherman years ago.
Yes, yeah, he was. For some of you will remember that.
And I didn't come up with this joke. My stepfather, Borhan, he's Egyptian. He's no longer with us, but a funny and great guy.
Nice guy.
Let's talk about another great guy.
Yeah.
He had the corny... I have bad jokes. He had really corny jokes. He said, it's raining outside. Make sure you don't... It's raining cats and dogs. Make sure you don't step in a poodle.
Oh, my gosh.
And as a weatherman, I could relate to that. Or it's going to be Sonny and Cher. Excuse me.
Well,
anyway,
Zach always, just one more thing, Zach always has his jokes. And of course, I've heard them a million times. And he goes, I've got a joke for you. I already know what he's going to say.
Do you know which? Okay, my go-to joke is...
Here we go.
You guys want to hear this, right? My go-to joke is, the people of Dubai, they don't like the Flintstones. But the people of Abu Dhabi do.
And he laughs like this every time.
It's
like
a
it's
good joke.
hilarious.
The people of Abu Dhabi do. I said it to a waiter. He thought it was funny. Or he just wanted a good tip.
I think he was just laughing.
He's laughing at me.
I want to say he's laughing with you, but kind of at you. Anyway, I think he basically said, total dad joke. Love the opportunity to ask you guys questions. Speaking on reliability, there are many who still have a hate on for Hyundai and Kia. They have the best warranty in the business and I believe are rated high by Consumer Reports. In your experience, do you still have any doubts on their quality?
Yeah, I think we still have some doubts. They have a long history also of having problems with engines blowing up, engines catching fire, all kinds of things. I would say is if you look at the newer vehicles, the ones that have been out in the last 2-3 years, they have gotten better. I think it's really always try and buy a vehicle that's been out for a while.
Yeah, I think that's the most challenging thing maybe with Kia and Hyundai is that they do reinvent their vehicles quite often. New designs, they're always kind of tweaking them to try and make them look better. They've got great technology. We can all agree that their interiors are really top notch.
And design is strong, right?
Design is strong. You know, they're very creative. Whether some people like it or don't, I mean, looks are subjective. But I think that that's the hardest part because some of you will chime in and say, we own a Hyundai and Kia. We've had it for many years, or we just bought a brand new one and we absolutely love it. It's a fantastic vehicle. My mom bought.
I know. There's a lot of pressure because Andrea recommended to her mom the plug-in hybrid Tucson. And you know what? She's had it for 2.5 years. Yeah. Not a stitch of trouble with it.
And absolutely loves it. And then others will chime in and they have problems with their vehicles. So, I mean, it's definitely something to consider. And I think it is helpful to buy a vehicle that's been out for a while. Currently, Andrea's
mom's was probably one of the first in the country, so we didn't take that advice. I think that you just, what were you going to say about J.D. Power?
Well, J.D. Power and Consumer Reports give Kia and Hyundai great scores now. So I think it's hit and miss at times. We talk about that also with Volkswagen. We recently filmed the Tiguan, and, I can't tell you how many people either said that they absolutely love their Tiguan or they have problems with their Tiguan. And as a brand, I think that is super challenging, especially for consumers who put reliability as number one on their list.
Yeah, if that's your number one motivation, you're just going to go back to the bank of Toyota and Honda.
Yeah.
That's the way that goes.
But even Toyota's having problems with their new Tundra.
Well, it's interesting because when we follow the JD Power study, it's the 3-year dependability study. So it'll be coming out, I think it's this summer. It'll be coming out, and these will be cars that were made in 2021.
Yeah.
Well, 2021 was the year before they made a lot of changes to their vehicles. So next year, you've got the new Tundra that has had issues. You know,
NX has
they had a
problems.
lot of computer upgrades to all their vehicles with the new infotainment systems. They didn't go perfectly. So it's going to be interesting to see if Toyota stays at that spot or tumbles down a little bit. We've seen it before. I remember when Ford had slowly, this is when Alan Mulally was running Ford. He really worked at getting the quality up at Ford, and they moved it way up, and then they brought in a new head unit, and it went into the dumps.
Yeah. You see that even with Jeep, with the Grand Cherokee, with the head unit. It had a lot of problems when it first came out as well. So definitely something to consider. Like Tiguan has been out for a while, so you'd think it would be super reliable, right?
What are you going to do?
Hard to know for sure.
You know, people ask us all the time, and it's really hard for us to give the example because we don't buy cars based on what we think is going to be the most reliable.
We don't.
We buy cars based on what we like, and then the number 2 motivating factor is resale value.
Yeah.
So we buy cars we know are going to have very strong resale value in the future. Listen, the last 3 cars we've sold, we've made money on them.
Yeah.
So if you buy right and you enjoy it, you can often sell if you have something unique and not lose as much money. So we buy what we like and we buy with resale value, which works into the whole part of, you know, is it reliable? Well, if it costs me a little bit more money to maintain it over the years, that's fine because I'm going to get a lot when I sell it.
And I would say, like, for me, performance is a really big one. It rates very high on the list for me. I like to have an engaging drive. So reliability is definitely not number 1, but it may be for you, so something to consider. Love your show and happy to see that you visited Souk, where I live. We were there with
a quick story on Souk.
Subaru recently with the Forester.
We drove the Forester and we went down to Souk and we went to Tim Hortons. We switched it up. We got Tim Hortons, and they had
loved it. It was delicious.
We would love Tim Hortons to sponsor Questions, Coffee, and Cars. If anybody works or knows anybody at head office,
Timmy's,
get them on it. So I went to the Tim Hortons to get the coffees for Questions, Coffee, and Cars. And on the floor, they had a plaque showing the loonie that was used at the Salt Lake City Games. And if you're American, you're not going to like this. This is a little bit of Canadian trickery. So Canada won the men's, and I believe the women's. I think they did. They won the men's. The big one was the men's gold medal hockey game.
Yeah, oh man.
So the number 1 ice maker in the NHL is the guy from Edmonton.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's the best at maintaining the ice. So they hired this guy to do the Olympic sheet. And so what he did without anybody noticing is he took a Canadian coin, a $1 coin, which is nicknamed a loonie because it's got a loon bird on it, and he put it at center ice, and then he made the sheet of ice over top of it.
Love that.
So this is why Americans don't like it, because he did this in the USA.
Ooh.
In Salt Lake City, Utah.
Of course, yes.
At center ice of the Americans' winter games, he stuck a Canadian loonie and then made the sheet of ice, and then Canada won the gold medal.
Ooh.
And do you know who the general manager of that team was? None other than Wayne Gretzky. So anyway, at the Tim Hortons, on the floor, they had the loonie.
It's pretty cool.
Encased, and I was like, that is cool.
That is cool.
So anyway, what was the question again?
I haven't even gotten to the question yet. We're just talking about how we were in Souk.
This should be called
getting sidetracked.
No, anecdotes and coffee.
Or just generally getting sidetracked, which we do, and then we forget what the question is, but I haven't read it yet. Just wondering what your thoughts are on Alfa Romeo's decision to be fully electric by 2025, not even bothering with hybrid or plug-in hybrids except the Tonale, which seems to be a failure. Alfa doesn't seem to have much of any experience with full EVs. Any chance they'll dial back their decision, thinking this may be the last model year for the ICE Stelvio? Well, my gosh, I love the Stelvio and the Giulia. I mean, they're just terrific vehicles to drive.
We're getting the Quattrofolio. Well, we were supposed to get it a couple of months ago. We had a conflict, so I pushed it. It's coming, I think we live in July. And I saw one this morning, and it was green.
Yeah.
Not the Stelvio, the Giulia. And I was like, oh.
Did it have that tan interior?
I don't know. They were driving by.
Oh,
but
okay.
I said to Andrea, if I was in a business where I needed a car, a lot, and I would just lease it and I didn't really care. I just get a new one every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Like if it was a real estate agent or something, I would have an Alfa Romeo.
Oh man, they're just terrific
or
vehicles.
A Cadillac.
Cadillac, engaging to drive. Yeah, I agree with you. The Tonale plug-in hybrid that we reviewed, we were not impressed with it. It just didn't feel like an Alfa Romeo. As for going pure electric, I think that's a mistake. It's not
There's another reason behind it.
It's not what people are looking for. Actually, hybrids are really what they're looking for.
Alfa Romeo, when you drive that Quadrifoglio, it's the sound of that thing. It's just fantastic. So a video will be coming out in probably the next month. It's all for EV credits, electric car credits. So why do you think Mercedes-Benz made the Smart division full electric? And the same thing is with Alfa Romeo, is a very small player inside the whole Stellantis European division. So basically they can get those carbon credits for selling just a few electric Alfa Romeos to offset all the Fiats they're going to sell and all of the other vehicles they're going to sell that are going to be gas or maybe hybrid or plug-in. So that's the game they play. And that's why Mini's going to go all electric too, because BMW will be able to they're going to be able to sell, for every electric Mini they sell, they're going to be able to sell 5 M5s, which is where they're going to make all their money.
I don't like the direction. I like it the way it is. Add some hybrids. I hope hybrids are actually going to be part of this plan where you do get a credit. I think that's super important. Look at Toyota. They've gone full on with hybrids, whether you get the non-powerful 2.5 liter hybrid, or you get the Hybrid Max powertrain, which is a beautiful blend of performance and fuel economy. Zach's looking at the time. I think it's what the government needs to do. Give credits to hybrids, plug-in hybrids, and of course, pure EVs.
So we're almost out of time, Andrew. I just want to say that Father's Day is coming.
Yes, I will make you spaghettini with meatballs. That's for you. And if any of those boys complain, I'm going to say, too bad, it's Father's Day. But they won't complain on Father's Day because they know it's Zach's day. So that'll be fine. But any other day, it's rigatoni.
What's the golf they have on Father's Day? It's so smart. I think it's the PGA Championship. I'm pretty sure it is. They always have it on Father's Day. Yes. It's so smart because that's, Scotch and sofa time. Watch the golf, have my spaghetti meatball.
It's not going to be Scotch and sofa time for you because we're going to our niece's birthday and graduation on that day. But I'm sure my brother, he's a sportaholic. He'll have golf on for you. That won't be a concern.
Carissa, taking one for the team. All right, so how do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out on Instagram with Zach and I holding coffees. It's only up for a short time, and once we gather our questions, the post is deleted, and we
start the show. Tim Hortons, you should sponsor this segment.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Timmy's.
Yeah, Timmy's. We like Timmy's. It was delicious.